In this video, we will be talking about calibrating this scientific CO transmitter. But before we start the calibration, we're going to need a couple components. The first component we're going to need is a bottle of CO. The bottle of CO has a concentration of 50 ppm. As you can see right there, once the camera focuses. So that's a 50 ppm CO bottle. It doesn't have to be 50 ppm. It can be done with 20 ppm that are commonly used as well. And we'll talk about that during the calibration instruction. The other component that you're going to need is a bottle of nitrogen. So we have a bottle of nitrogen right here. The nitrogen is going to be our zero gas, meaning that it's going to be the base for our calibration at the 0 mark. Another thing we're going to need is a bottle regulator, a flow meter, and a keypad. To start with the calibration, first we need to open the transmitter unit. To open the transmitter unit, you will need an Allen key, and you're going to unscrew the 4 bolts here. The bolt will not come out. There's a locking mechanism in the case, so once you unscrew it all the way, it will just free spin at the top, so it won't fall off. Once you have it, you pop it open like this, and you can flip it open. As you can see, you will have a USB port right there. You're going to take the CO calibrator, take the USB connection, and plug it into the USB. The CO calibrator will automatically start booting up. Give it about a minute, and it should show you the current CO level. Okay, so right now it's reading 0.6, 0.5 ppm of CO, which is a little bit off. And as you can see, our PLC is currently reading between 0 and 1. And that's what's causing the flash, is that it's actually reading 0.6 and 5. And 5 is being rounded to 0, and 0.6 is being rounded to 1. So it's going between 1 and 0. So we're going to do some calibration on this unit. So first we're going to take the nitrogen, and we're going to connect the nitrogen to the regulator. Making sure the regulator is off. And we're going to plug this in. And as you can see, the gauge came alive, meaning that I do have gas in my bottle. The gas is then being fed to a flow meter, which is then we're going to have a tube that you can connect to the right side of the gas connection. What you can do in here is you can either connect it to the open port, which is this end right here, because the left side is normally reserved for the system, or you can disconnect it from the system and make the connection there. So once you have done that, we're going to feed it with some gas. We'll crack open the bottle. And as we crack open the bottle, we should see the CO flow meter to start rising. You want to set it to about 0.5 SCFH. And then once you've done that, leave it connected for about 30 seconds to a minute. After connecting it for about a minute, or when the reading starts stabilizing like this, it's bouncing between 0.1, which is still fine. We're gonna press the arrow up menu, and we're gonna do E01. So once you see E01, hit enter. And it's flashing E01 and 1, and you're gonna hit enter again. And it's gonna have dotted lines telling you that it's now calibrating. And once it's done, you can hit menu again to exit. So now, as you can see, it's now 0.0 or 0.1. There is gas in this room, so it does drift a little bit as it picks it up. But in general, now instead of a 0.9 reading, we're now reading a 0.0. Once we have done that, we're ready to turn off the gas. So we're gonna come back over here, turn off the flow meter, turn off the regulator, and we're gonna disconnect the regulator from the stirred gas. We're now going to take the CO gas and we're going to plug it in. Again, as you can see, the dial came right back up, meaning that there are gas inside the bottle. We're going to open up the bottle. And same thing, we're going to turn the flow meter up. Now, if you look at the PLC, the reading is already starting to climb. It's already at 40. And at the same time, the calibrator is also reading a much higher value now. What we're going to do is we're going to let this value continue to go up for a minute or so until the number is stable. So as you can see, it's already starting to stable out, but it's still climbing a little bit, and we're going to wait until it climbs up to a stable value. Once the value stabilizes, we're going to hit menu again. Now this time we're going to go to E02. Hit enter. We're going to set the 50.00 to the gas that you're currently using. So if you have a bottle of 20 ppm, this is when you'll set it to 20 ppm. Right now I'm using a 50 ppm gas, so I'm just going to leave it alone and hit enter. It's going to flash that, and you're going to hit enter again. And it's going to show you the dotted lines. Once it shows you the dotted line, meaning that the calibration has been taken. And as you can see, now instead of showing 47, it's now showing 50, meaning that it accepted the span. If you hit menu now, it should exit, and it tells you right now it's reading 50 ppm. You can verify that further at this PLC, where it's currently also saying 50 ppm. That means you have done the calibration correctly. Once you have done the calibration, you can turn off the gas by turning off the flow if you have that option. If you don't, then just go to the tank and close the tank and disconnect the tank from here on. Disconnect the tube. Disconnect the USB. and then close the lid and re-screw the lid back in. And that's it. That's how you calibrate the seal. Now, if a seal sensor change is needed, simply remove the connector at the bottom. Remove this connector here by twisting it off. You'll expose the sensor right here. You may pull the sensor off. Take a new sensor, plug it back into the sprung, like such. Close the lid right here by twisting it back on. Make sure the screen is intact, and then reconnect the gas connection. And that's how you change the seal sensor. If you want to change the seal sensor during this process, you can do it prior to calibration. So that's it for this video on how to calibrate a CO transmitter. If you need any calibration components such as the calibration gas or the keypad, we do offer a calibration kit which includes every component that we mentioned before. Please feel free to reach out to us for information about those. Thank you and have a great day.